Morning Flosstube, I'm Rachel, Stitchy Rach here on Flosstube and over on Instagram. It is Thursday the 20th of May and this is a YouTube channel about cross stitch because I like cross stitch. Welcome back everyone. If it's your first time here, thank you for coming along and seeing what I like talking about. And if you're coming back, thank you very much for watching and for all your comments and liking and subscribing. It's been fab. It's another May Day masquerading as an October day here in Kent. It is grey. I think it's going to rain. It's basically rained all week, so the gardening has been a bit not really happening for me. Thank you for all your comments on last week's video, particularly about the tooth fairy. I feel I hit on a parenting nerve and something that's been a taboo. I literally thought I was the only forgetful tooth fairy in the world, but it turns out it's actually quite a common theme. So to all the forgetful tooth fairies out there, I see you. It's rubbish. We should change it. One lady did leave a comment and said that in her house they put the tooth in a glass in the bathroom so the tooth fairy can clean it before she takes it, and then obviously it's next to all the family toothbrushes, so less likely to be forgotten, which I think is a fab idea. I think unfortunately for me, it may be too late to wean my children off sticking it under their pillow. But for those of you that day is in the future, that's a pretty good tip. Yeah. Again, not a very eventful week, but here in the UK things are starting to open back up, which is it's really good. It's it's nice to feel a bit normal. My eldest is playing in a sports match this afternoon. There haven't been many of those, and the few that there have been, I haven't been allowed to watch. But this afternoon I can go and watch my kid play sport, which is fabulous. Outside, I'm just really looking forward to it, even if it does rain, which I think is highly likely. And the other thing is, for those of you that follow me on Instagram and that you know one of my main out and about stitching places is swimming, from this week we're allowed to go back into swimming and I can watch the swimming as well. So fabulous. No more Saturday swimming stitching from the car. Saturday swimming stitching back next to the pool. So excited about that. I'm going to have a slurp of tea and then we'll get into stitching, I think. So what have I been stitching this week? So I am still in my Maynia, and for those of you that have watched before, you know that I am doing the Blimey Cat method, and for those of you that haven't watched, I did a full Maynia last year, a full stitch Maynia. I did 20 new starts for the first 20 days of 2020, and this year I am doing the Blimey Cat method, which is any day that you still have the start from last year. So for example, if on the 1st of May that the piece you started is still in your WIP pile, you stitch on that, and for any days where you finished the piece you started last year, you have a new start. So I only have one new start to show you this week, and everything else has been leftover WIPs from last year. So I'll dive in. So the first so last Thursday, after I'd filmed, that was the only new start I've had this week, and that was Snort Stack by Plum Street Samplers. I'm stitching this with all the called for threads, and they're a mix of Weeks Dye Works and Classic Colourworks on my thread ring. And the fabric I am using is a piece of 40 count that I tea coffee dyed myself after watching that Priscilla and Chelsea tutorial, which is very good. I wanted quite a deep coloured piece of fabric. The called for is oaken, but presently with supplies of just anything in the UK, that was not going to be possible to get. So that is where I got to. That fabric is showing quite true, perhaps a little washed out. So it wasn't a massive start. I had to go out last Thursday. I had a meeting which was conducted in a car park in a socially distanced way, and then I went and sat outside at the pub, which I think is the first time I've done that in 2021. It was really nice. It was really nice to speak to people I know in person rather than over Zoom. It was lovely. So that was the first one. So I didn't get a massive start, as I say, because I was out gallivanting in a socially distanced car park. It's hardly like gallivanting used to be, is it? Okay, so the next thing I stitched on Friday was one of my Lizzie Kate Flippets, and I've done several of these. So I started all these yearbook Flippets last May, so they were 12 of my 20 new starts, so you are going to see a few of those today. The first one I stitched on Friday was September. That's what it looks like. I'm stitching these on all different coloured fabrics. They're from XG Designs, and they were bought as a grab bag, I think it was a spring collection. It's a 28 Permin linen. I think, I may be wrong, but I think in Europe Permin is what is the same as Witchelt in the States. I just think they brand it differently in Europe. If I am wrong about that, please let me know, but I think Permin linen is the same as Witchelt. Anyway, so this is where I got to. So when I started last Friday, I'd done the apple and the blackboard and the outline of one of the books. So I actually think I got a really good amount done on these. I'm stitching them with the cord 4 weeks dye works. So that's where I got to. And I think these are going to become my out and about projects, because I think a lot of these, if you look, that's not going to, sorry, floppy fabric, that's not going to take a lot to get that finished, really. So get some of these out of the whip pile. I haven't finished any of them yet, and for those of you that have been here before, you know finishing is not my strong suit, and for those of you that are new, finishing is not my strong suit. So once I get them finished, heaven knows how long it will take me to actually FFO them all. But I did purposely leave them for FFOing because I want to finish them in a similar way so that I can change them up every month. Okay, so then on Saturday, I did October. Now, the weekend stitching didn't go very well. So we saw some friends on Saturdays. Now in the UK, you're allowed, well, last weekend, so now you are allowed to see people indoors. But last weekend, you're allowed to see one other household outside. Well, 6 people or one other household. But obviously, having 3 children, it's always one other household for us, because otherwise we exceed our 6 limit quite quickly. Anyway, so we saw some friends on Saturday, but I did get a bit of stitching done at Saturday swimming pool stitching on October. So that is October. Trying to get the glare off it. There you go. That's October. I haven't got very far with this. So that's where I am. So before Saturday, I think I only had the white bits of the candy corn done. So I finished one candy corn and did the orange band on another. And I did those kind of pale yellow squares in that vine. But that's it. That's all I got done. And it was all at Saturday swimming pool stitching. I think I've said before, I've never had candy corn. I have no idea what it tastes like. No idea if I like it or if I would think it was disgusting. It's not well, we call them sweets. In the US you call them candy, don't you? But it's not a sweet / candy that is readily available or common in the UK. So don't know what that tastes like. And then Sunday was even worse. So Sunday we went over to have a barbecue with a family who are school friends of one of my children. and yeah, really I felt really tired afterwards. Clearly, like seeing 2 sets of people in one weekend is just kind of pushed me over the edge of what has become my normal over the last 15 months. And I got my stitching out in the evening and then basically just lay on the sofa like, my husband was like, "You are the most asleep awake person I've ever seen in my life." So on Sunday, I was meant to be stitching on the Barbara Anna Freebie light, and which looks like this. It's lovely. I started this last Maynia and I hadn't touched it since last Maynia. I don't know if I really count it as being touched this Maynia. I am stitching this on a Chromatic Alchemy fabric. It's 32 count linen in, I think, Al's Dark Magic Opalescent. And I like the opalescent because I think, because it's light, because of the design, I think it's at night. She looks like a Florence Nightingale fox to me with her lantern. And so I think this looks like a midnight sky. Anyway, so I'm having to change some of the colours up. But my sole stitching on Sunday after the barbecue was those 3 pale, I think it's pale, it's a pale grey, I think, but they look pretty white there. Those 3 stitches, that is what I achieved on Sunday. So, loads of progress there, Rach. Well done. That was Sunday stitching. So as you can see, the weekend was not a stellar stitching weekend. All this seeing people again. So, yeah, messing up the stitching. It's nice. I like it. Okay, so then Monday's stitching was, I will show you this one. It was Dear Santa by Lizzie Kate, which appeals to my sense of humour. I'm doing the larger one. I am stitching it in the DMC that's called for on a scrap of even weave that was in my stash. So I don't know what it is. It's a kind of, I'll show you. It's an off-white. It'll probably look quite white on here, but it is an off-white, and I think it must be fabric flare just from that blue writing down the side, and it's white on the back completely, so it is a printed fabric. But it's just a 28 count even weave oddment. I can't tell you the colour or anything like that. And I actually, in complete contrast to the weekend, got a lot done on this because Monday is one of my days where I can get a lot of out and about stitching done. So on Monday, I finished this G. It was started, but it hadn't been finished. I stitched Bean, Deer and Santa and most of that stocking. And I think this one actually could be finished really quickly if it got some time. And I think I'm going to try and give it some time, and I'm going to come to it in plans. It's not on my WIPGO board for this year, but I think I'm going to try and squeeze it into my stitching. That and these Lizzie Kate flippets. I think a lot of my out and about stitching is going to be Lizzie Kate's to try and get them done. And then Tuesday, back to the Lizzie Kate flippets. So I'm just checking my diary over there to see what days I was stitching things. So, oh, I haven't put that, never mind. So I haven't put a chart away. I haven't put that Dear Santa chart back in the bag. I was just thinking I'll do it now, but it can wait till the end. It's only one. So Tuesday was the November flippet. Like that. When I started this, I had just the top half of the house done. And again, pretty good stitching on Tuesday. This is again another piece of fabric from that XG Design spring grab bag. So I did the whole bottom of this house, that tree, and one of the leaves. So that looks pretty great. Again, as I say, these really won't take a lot to finish, which is why they're going to be my out and about. So that was Tuesday's stitching on November. And then yesterday was December. And again, Wednesday is a good out and about stitching day for me because one of my children has a dance class that I have to sit. It's 45 minutes. I get a solid 45 minutes stitching on my own. And that's December. And when I started this yesterday, I had done threads all over these. I had done this flower, this poinsettia. I think it's meant to be a poinsettia, but not the stem, and one of these little diamonds. So I did the other flower, the stems, the other diamond, the bird, and I started doing that box that's going to have an angel in it. I'm not making many changes on these, but one of the few changes I did make was this bird. I inverted the colours on that. So the bird is meant to be that paler blue that I've used for the patterning. And I started stitching it in that, but it blended in too much with the fabric. So the pattern was meant to be in the dark blue and the bird was meant to be a light blue. So I just switched them over. So he stands out a little bit more, and I think that's fine. So there. So that is all my stitching for this week. So my plans for next week, I am coming to the end of my Maynia. So today and tomorrow are my last 2 days of Maynia. So today I have a whip to stitch on, which is Good Chips by Hands-On Design. So I'll be getting that out later today and hopefully making some progress on that. That's another piece I haven't touched since Maynia last year. So get some good work on that. And then tomorrow is my last new start of Maynia 2020. So I've got the Wash Your Hands by Ink Circles. That's how I feel it should be said, because I spend my life going, kids, have you washed your hands? Wash your hands. So it's Wash Your Hands by Ink Circles. So that'll be tomorrow. And then I need to get back on the WIPGO horse. So the WIPGO calls for this month were my Snoopy Afghan, to get another square done on that. And then my alphabet sampler, it was a square of that as well. But I think what I am going to do is have a square halfway finished on the Snoopy Afghan, and I don't want to count that square to my WIPGO. I want to do a whole new start. So I want to finish the square that I'm currently halfway through on my Snoopy Afghan and do another one. And I think that will nearly take me to the end of May. So I don't think I'm going to achieve the alphabet block. So here's my plan. I do those 2 squares on the Snoopy Afghan, and if I finish them before the end of May, I'm going to allow myself another new start on the Owl Forest Embroidery Alice in Wonderland sale. So I have the thread pack for that. I have some fabric. The sale is actually free on their website, so I will link their website. But if I get through those 2 blocks, I'm allowing myself to start that sale. If I don't get there, the start won't happen. And then what I will do, because obviously my alphabet sampler then won't get any love this month, is I am going to have a monogamous June on the sampler. It won't be fully monogamous because I can't take it for out and about stitching. So there will be out and about stitching that is not the alphabet sampler. And also I'm going to participate in the Blackbird weekend with Brenda and Laura, so Brenda and the Serial Starter. So apart from that first weekend in June, all my evening stitching, my plan at the moment is for it to be on the alphabet sampler. Although having said that, that first weekend in June for the Blackbird weekend, I have no idea how much stitching I'm going to get done, because now in the UK you are allowed to see one other household inside, and we are going to go and stay with some friends that we haven't seen since Christmas 2019, which feels a long time ago. So we're going to go and see them. So that's exciting. Okay, so they're my plans. I have a little bit of haul to show you. What have I got? I'll show you it's all exciting haul. I love it all, but I'll leave the really exciting one to the end. So what have I got? I'll show you this one first, because then some of the others will make a bit more sense. So I should have shown this one last week. I knew I'd forgotten something, but I forgot this. So last week on Wednesday, the welcome packet for Little Women Stitching Book Club landed in my inbox. So I am a member of Stitching Book Club for 2021. They've already done their first sale, which was Sense and Sensibility, and this one is starting, I think the first part is on the 12th of June, but the welcome pack tells you what threads you need, what fabric is called for, so that you can kit everything up and be ready to go on the 12th of June. I think Kirsten also does some kits. I don't know how many she does, because as she's in the States and I'm here, it's far more economical for me to just get the pattern and to kit it up myself. Anyway, so this landed, super excited, yay. The called for is ivory even weave, I think, but I have quite a big bit of 40 count antique white. Yeah, 40 count antique white. And I think that will be perfectly fine. So there's my fabric. You all know what antique white looks like. I'm getting a lot of glare on that fabric. And then I'm just going to do it in the called for DMC. So I pulled what I had from my stash. I don't have a complete collection of DMC. What I do is buy it as it's called for in my patterns, and most patterns don't need a whole skein of DMC, and I put it on bobbins and then just put it back in my stash when I finished a project. And to be honest, that method of collecting has led me to have a good stash of DMC. And then when a bobbin runs out, so if I was to use this whole skein of 26, or however much of a skein is there, it looks pretty full, in this project, then I would replace it. So now that I have them, any that I have previously bought, I replace when they run out. But I've never felt the need to go out personally and buy a full set of DMC. I'd rather just have the things I use. Then my second bit of haul came from Lakeside Needlecraft. Sorry, another technical hitch. So I use the inbuilt software on my Mac to record, and it just keeps freezing quite randomly. So I think I'm going to have to find some other software. My husband said his camera can take really high quality films, but I am a little bit of a technophobe, and having found something that kind of works, I get a little bit concerned about changing, but I think the time may be coming. If I'm going to carry on doing this, I think perhaps I need to find a more reliable solution. Anyway, as I was saying, my second piece of haul was from Lakeside Needlecraft, and it was mainly DMC threads. So these are, in the main, the threads I didn't have in my stash that I need for the Little Women sale. And you know, it's not doing justice to those as well. These bluey greens are absolutely amazing. Get my little white tray. Oh, got a pink one. Yeah, that's showing them a bit better. They're really kind of rich jewel tones. And then there were these two pinks as well, which are they're not really so much my colour, but they are very bright and pretty pinks. And then I have the Lizzie Kate Flippets. A couple of them call for this pink. And I didn't have anything similar to that pink in my stash. I don't have a lot of pinks, it must be said. Pink is not my colour so much. And then I was running out of Begonia by Weeks Dye Works, which is also used in those Lizzie Kate Flippets. So a little thread haul from Lakeside, and I'll go and pop those in all the right bags in a moment. The other bit of haul that came was my Colour and Cotton Thread of the Month Club, which I get through Threads Entwined in California. You cannot get Colour and Cotton threads in the UK at the moment, so I do allow myself a little bit of spending on US postage. So I don't know if that club is still open, and I know that because of all the delays, and it's no one's fault, but there's just been lots of delays. So I know Colour and Cotton were struggling to get the threads to dye, and then that obviously impacted Trisha's club. So I think these are actually my March threads, but I will say that Trisha's communication has been fabulous. You haven't been left wondering what's going on. So if you're interested, go over to her website. But as I say, I don't know if the club is open to new members, but I got Driftwood. It's a really nice, slightly variegated green. Got Dusty Blue. Got Delphinium. It's kind of a bit of a purpley hint in there. Dusty Blue and Delphinium are very similar, if you look. But the Dusty Blue has a more grey undertone, and the Delphinium has a more purple undertone, but otherwise very, very similar colours. Denim, which is just a really denim-y blue. It's a good name for it. And then I managed to hit the stop button all by myself. So the denim is a denim-y blue, if I said that already. And then this amazing red called Dracula. Look at that. That is showing a bit browner than it is, but it's a really, there you go, it's a really, really rich blood red. It is absolutely fabulous. I think a red sampler in Dracula would be awesome if I find a little one that I can just do with one skein. That'd be splendid. Okay, so let me just tidy that lot up a bit. So that's all the, I won't say less exciting haul. No haul's unexciting, is it? But I've got the biggie sat down there, which I nearly forgot about. I was getting all the haul to show you all, and I was like, I'm sure I have something else. I just had this complete mental blank, couldn't remember what it was, but here is what it is. Oh, Nitka Moscow. I joined the Nitka Moscow gang. I know everyone on Flosstube seems to be getting these at the moment, but I treated myself to 2 Nitka Moscow kits. So this is a Russian shop that are doing a collaboration with Barbara Anna, and the Barbara Anna charts she has are exclusive to her. You cannot get them anywhere else, and they come in these fantastic tubes. I ordered these on the 6th of May and they came on May 17th. So again, about 2 weeks time postage from Russia. So for me, that is absolutely fine. And they're really beautifully packaged. So I got the 4 Seasons, which is this one. And inside you get the charts, which obviously I can't show you. There's no cover photo inside. You get a piece of linen. I think it's 32 count. Looks like 32 count. Piece of 32 count linen. This is a long, thin. Oh, it's stuck together with the needles, but it's a long, thin piece so that you can stitch them all next to each other. And then there is some DMC threads that are beautifully braided together. So super excited about that. The other thing with 4 Seasons is when you buy the kit, it gives you access to some freebies. There's a code inside the kit that you can enter on Nitka Moscow's website, and it gives you some exclusive freebies that are only for people who've bought the 4 Seasons Knit Moscow kit. So it's a little bit of an extra bonus. So that's the first one. And then the second one was the Tree of Magic. So you can't see it all there, but you get the idea. It's a tree with lots of different bits on it. I really like that one. Again, the pattern rolled up in there, but I can't show it to you. Another lovely braid of DMC threads. And another piece of 32 count linen. So I can highly recommend them. Very easy transaction process, not a problem. Do not be afraid of buying things from abroad. Just keep your eye on import duty, because if you start getting stung for import duty in the UK, it can be can get punchy. Right, I think that's all I have to show you and say this week. I've hardly watched any Flosstube this week, so I can't really tell you about what I've watched. My Flosstube seems to go like that. It's feast or famine and not a lot in between. So not a lot of Flosstube to talk to you about. I am going to go and edit this up with all my stops and starts and get that uploading, because it probably won't land till tomorrow given the speed of our internet. And then I'm gonna, as usual, take my dog for a walk, and then I get to go and watch my kid this afternoon playing sport, so I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, so that's my day. I've told you about my stitch plans for the week, so I'm going to say goodbye now. Thank you once again for coming along and listening to me waffle on about stitching. I really enjoy it, and I really appreciate all your comments and likes. Well, that's it. So have a good week, stitchers.